Have you ever thought about starting over to finally chase that dream you put off for years? I was in my mid-50s before I finally made the tough decision to start over and chase my dream. I spent many days and nights thinking about what life will be like someday. For me, it got so bad that I dreaded anything to do with work. I was defeated and miserable, and most of the time secretly hoping that I would just get fired, so I had no choice but to start over. I don't have a magic wand to transform your life overnight, but I can share with you the process that I went through to finally make a fresh start in my mid-50s. The crazy thing is, it was much easier than I thought it was going to be. Or it just was sort of done. The world that I was working in was nothing like the world that I originally started doing development in. The world had been hijacked by people that were more interested in controlling the industry rather than the creative freedom that was there when I originally started. Beyond that, I was so over being on support calls, especially for issues that had nothing to do with the solution that my team had created. In fact, the fact that other teams and clients were not required to operate at the same high expectation level that my team was, I could never figure out. Oh, and the constant disapproval from managers outside of my team was such a joke. Like, if your client blows something up, how is it my team's fault, and why do we have to fix our system to address their shortcomings? Yeah, I was completely done. So it was time for a change, and not like just changing jobs, but a complete change, some sort of change that had the possibility of transforming my life, basically starting over. The biggest issue is, what would that change look like? To figure that out, I had to pinpoint what truly mattered. Starting over to follow my dream was a chance to redefine everything, but without a clear idea of what I wanted that to look like, I risked ending up right where I started, or worse, never taking the steps to change anything. It might sound a little crazy, but to figure out what truly mattered to me turned out to be rather easy. In part, it was because I kept it simple. I mean, this is the key element to making a successful life change. Just keep it simple. Here's what I identified that mattered to me most. I want the freedom to do what I want when I want. I don't want anyone telling me what to do. And, well, I nearly want every day to provide an opportunity to be creative. More simply, I want my life to focus on creativity and not work. And I had some secondary requirements. I want the opportunity to earn some level of income, but for that income to be completely based on the effort I am willing to put in and not based on what somebody is telling me I'm worth. Simply no glass ceiling. Additionally, I will work the hours I want to work, not the hours I'm required to work. This basically is that I want the freedom to do what I want to do when I want to do, but defines more specifically that my time is my time. Also, I want what I'm doing to be able to evolve around my interests and not have them direct what I'm doing. This is driven around the idea that when I started as a software developer, it was amazing. But over time, everything in my life was focused around being a software developer, even though my interests had changed. Once I nailed down what really mattered, I needed to make sure that those things aligned with my dream. Something interesting that I realized along the way, most of the time, if you're dreaming about something, it's already deeply tied to what matters to you. That definitely was true for me. The vision I had for my new life turned out to be the root of everything I valued. To move forward and achieve your dream of starting over to live the life you desire, We need to take our dream and everything that we've identified that matters and turn it into clear, actionable steps. Like I stated earlier, the key to success is keeping things simple. The first action you need to take is to test the dream that you have out to the best of your ability. You really don't want to end up following this dream that you've had for so long only for it to turn out to be the worst decision you've ever made in your life, and then have to crawl back to your previous job or to your previous career like a dog with its tail between its legs. So imagine if your dream was to own a fishing charter in the Cayman Islands, but after you achieved it, you realized you just absolutely hated dealing with the people chartering your boat. Or worse, you were constantly seasick all the time when you were out on the boat and ended up having to hire someone to operate the charter for you. That would suck. But consider if months earlier you had arranged to work on a charter boat to experience what it was really like to deal with the people and, well, to make sure that you weren't constantly seasick, you might have saved yourself from crushing that dream that you had like right before your eyes. Yeah, so it's always best, if you can, to test that dream out before it becomes like a nightmare. Ultimately, taking your dream out for a test ride fits well with the next action that you should take. Finding a mentor or a coach or someone that you trust that can help guide you through this life-changing transition. Ideally, that person will continue to offer guidance and support after you had started your new life. This is important because even though we may have thought about our new life for years and done plenty of research, we've never actually lived it, and as a result, there is often a lot to learn. All right, so let's expand on the dream of owning a fishing charter as an example. Maybe you already know how to drive a boat capable of going out on the open waters of the ocean, but do you have your captain's license? What about other licenses or certificates you might need in order to operate a fishing charter? Do you know where the best places to fish are that your clients might be looking for? What about a fishing boat? I mean, do you know the right people to contact to find the boat you're looking for? I'm sure that there are a number of other things that you might need or you need to know. In that situation, it'd be great to find a mentor that can help you out and is probably the same person that provided you with the opportunity to live a day in the life of being, well, a charter boat captain. So that said, it may not always be the case that you need that person. If, for example, you want to be a full-time artist and you've been painting in your spare time for years, you probably don't need somebody to guide you or mentor you as an artist. This brings us to the next important action to take: purchasing the big ticket items while you're still employed. So you can pay everything off before making that major life change. The exception to that might be if you're planning on getting some sort of loan to cover those expenses at a later date. This was a big part of my plan when I looked at starting over as a full-time content creator. The camera gear, the lights, audio equipment, and all that type of stuff were really expensive. And so rather than waiting till after I retired to go full-time as a content creator, I purchased all that equipment in advance, made sure that I had it all paid for so that I wouldn't have to worry about it after I made that change. So basically having all those items bought and paid for before I went full-time was a must for me, because I knew I would go for a period of time with little to no income as I was trying to build up my channel and build up the opportunities to make income. Sort of a side benefit of getting those things paid off before making the major change in your life is that, well, you get to go into your new life with one less thing to be stressing over. Finally, we've reached the action that feels like the biggest and scariest one of them all. That's quitting your job. Here's the deal. If you have done all the work that we've just talked about previously, this won't be that scary of an action to take anymore. In fact, it may be a major sense of relief, which was totally the case for me. For me, I was really stressing over telling my manager that I was going to be retiring at the end of the year. My biggest concern is they might say, that's great. Friday is your last day, or something along those lines. I was actually a little surprised and happy to find that they were more than okay with my plan to retire at the end of the year. The next part, though, sort of caught me off guard. Once I told my manager and everything was good with my plan, I had a huge sense of relief. But I also felt like I could breathe again. Within a couple days of telling my manager, a lot of the stress that had built up over the years started to go away. The other cool thing is I just was excited that I was nearing the end of one chapter of my life and getting ready to start a brand new one. One that I finally had complete, and I mean complete, control over. That brings us to the two final actionable steps. The first one is to plan to take some time off, 1 or 2 weeks, or even a month after you've left your job. Don't jump straight into your new life. Give yourself a chance to reset, decompress, and recharge. I know for me, that was a challenge because I was excited to start my new life, but at the same time, I had over 30 years of life as a software developer that I needed to decouple myself from. And I needed to get used to the idea that this was my new life. That might seem a little strange to say, but it takes a while to reset after such a major change. My whole identity had been wrapped around being a software developer, and now it wasn't. So for the week that I took off before I started my new life, I really just tried to reset and get myself comfortable with the idea that my dream was now my life and no longer some far off thing that might happen someday. The last actionable step is really simple. Enjoy your new life. You've done it. You have started over with a fresh new perspective on life and a chance to live the dream you've held onto for so long. Live it, love it. Now that you know how easy it can be to start over, how can you be certain that it will work out? In this video, I'll share if following my dream was a mistake or if it was the best decision that I ever made. You'll want to know what happened before you take your first step.